Triss could not help Geralt, yet she did direct him to Corrine Tilly, an Oniromancer and an expert at finding the lost and the missing. Guided by Corrine Tilly, the Witcher had a dream. In it, Ciri and I, the bard Dandelion, were reunited. Geralt now knew that to find Ciri, he would first need to find his dear old friend.
Now can we talk?
Yes. What do you want?
I know you saw Dandelion recently.
Oh, yes. Longest afternoon of my life.
He read you his poems?
No. We perused the illustrated guide to fungi.
Maybe... No. Won't even try to guess why he wanted to do that.
Mold. That was his interest. When his hand abandoned my knee to point at a figure of penicillium, I knew the fire between us had died. Permanently.
See Dandelion after the fungus incident?
No. I even considered granting him another chance. His heart of hearts is pure gold. He simply needs a bit more discipline in his life. But he never came back to see me. So I thought if it's done, it's done.
Thanks for your help.
Marquis. Cerrar la puerta.
This is no country for troubadours.
I traced the pansy all the way to the garden.
His sins shall be forgiven.
No luck.
Only
Driving in
unwavering
slippery the
faith
bugger
in
was
the
quick as a
power of
tomcat.
this flame.
Scrambled out the hole in the back wall.
Remember, sounds like you might have been lacking that.
Maybe so. Both Mr.
More
Fond of
evil
fruits.
than 1,000 believers can do good. Ears open and eyes peeled. For evil. Our beloved note.
United. Geralt now knew that to find Ciri, he would first need to find his dear old friend. Triss could not help Geralt, yet she did direct him to Corinne Tilly, an oneromancer and an expert at finding the lost and the missing. Guided by Corinne Tilly, the Witcher had a dream. In it, Ciri and I, the bard Dandelion, were reunited. Geralt now knew that to find Ciri, he would first need to find his dear old friend. Triss could not help Geralt, yet she did direct him to Corrine Tilly, an oneromancer and an expert at finding the lost and the missing. Guided by Corrine Tilly, the Witcher had a dream. In it, Ciri and I, the bard Dandelion, were reunited. Geralt now knew that to find Ciri, he would first need to find his dear old friend.
Well, don't just stand there. Read. We might let get out, pal. Get out. Get out, pal.
From the finest vineyards, every last one.
No one knows the fruit of the vine like Dandelion.
From the finest vineyards, every last one.
No one knows the
This the loot he got from the elves of Dol Blathanna.
Aye. Must have been in a great rush to leave it behind.
This the loot he got from the elves of Dol Blathanna.
Aye. Must have been in a great rush to leave it behind. Well, get out, pal.
Annual balladry contest. Silver laurel awarded to Master Dandelion.
Prince Hereward himself did the honours. And the feast afterwards, to celebrate the laureates. Dandelion taught a swine to yodel, and I... another day.
Still here? Looking for something?
Just checking to see that everything's in place.
Actually, glad you're still here. Wanted to ask you about someone. Though well she knows the touch of silken lace, she shuns not straw when gripped in lust's embrace.
Molly keeps things tidy for the Baroness Lavalette.
A baroness within reach, and he settled for a chambermaid?
Dandelion's not one to judge folk by their station. You know that. Like he says, in the alcove, we're all equals.
Yeah. Guess a true poet observes life in all its aspects, examines it from all perspectives. If I didn't know him better, I'd say he was jealous about this Marabella.
Oh, I doubt it. Former pupil. And well, the tales he told me about her.
Doubt I want to hear them.
Probably better off not. Things between them took a turn for the strange at some point.
Meaning?
She had him wearing mummers' costumes. Took to calling him Christian, referring to herself as Anastasia.
Huh, truly perverse.
He didn't ken half of it. Called him her stallion once. That's the fool took it as a compliment, till she pulled a bit in the reins out of her cupboard. Poor bastard fled out the window.
Vespula. Name rings a bell. She threw his knickers out the window.
That's her.
Hollered something about him being a scoundrel with a voice like a consumptive pheasant.
That's her.
Threw flower pots at him.
Guess soul flames never die.
Like a rose abashed of its crimson hue, fair Rosa would sink into humor's blue. She shunned her lessons in civility, to swing her dwarf with agility. Dwarf. Never suspected he'd be so humble.
Dwarfs what Rosa var Atre named her Guihir. Well chosen, eh?
All right. But Var Atra? Her dad happened to be the Nilfgaardian ambassador?
He is. You know him?
Wouldn't say that. Had a brief conversation with him at the palace in Vizima.
Well, then you've a good notion of the kind of bloke he is. Commissioned Dandelion to tutor Rosa and her sister in the art of rhetoric. But we, Rosa, preferred swordplay.
How dare she reject the great bard in favor of a common swordmaster?
More than one, it seems. Week on week, we get fresh gossip about her thrashing another instructor. So bad he resigns. Word has it her dad's now looking to hire her next victim. Instructor.
A figure most rare, her nature dual. Look deep in her eyes or be made a fool. Well, well, seems fascinated with this one.
Not without reason. Never been much for elven women myself, but this one's exceptional. Dare say Francesca Finderbeard be jealous.
You want to take this one, then?
Nah, you can have her.
Why?
See, elven beauty's like a young Beauclair wine, whereas I prefer vodka straight up.
Well, know about all I wanted to know. Thanks for your help.
Hey, you! Yes, you! You got water on the brain? I wish you health. Julia, fuck you. Agreed.
I will get you every last copper.
Horson's no banker. He's an honest man. You pay on time, you get protection. You don't pay...
Help!
What you hollering for, stupid wench? What are you hoping for? A knight in shining armour?
Close enough.
Keep out of this, greyhead, not your concern.
Vespula's got someone else's protection now. The King of Beggars made a deal with Junior. This is his turf now.
Didn't hear nothing about that.
But you have heard what Bedlam does to people who cross him. Or you need a demonstration?
Come on, Fritz. Boss wants it that way. It's how it's got to be.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. To think there are men who'll help a stranger out of the kindness of their hearts.
Not entirely out of kindness, and you're not entirely a stranger.
What are you... Oh, I know you. You're that witcher took Dandelion out whoring. Gerald, right?
Not Gerald. Geralt.
Oh. Dreadful sorry.
Explain something if you don't mind. You say I took Dandelion out whoring.
So he said. Claimed I was his one and only. But he fell in with the wrong folk. You and that dwarf who always looks like a cow licked him. Said you two were a bad example. Wine, women.
Song. He picked that habit up from us too? Gotta have a word with him. What do you think? Where could Dandelion be?
Probably out whoring. That horse pheasant. That lying scoundrel.
Ouch. What did he do to get your goat?
Same thing as ever. Prize bullshitter came back, saying it was till death do we part this time. And no more than a week passed before I spotted him in Harbourside, strolling with some trollop on his arm. 'Twas the last straw. All those questions about the washerwomen at the bathhouse, then this. I beat him black and blue and threw him out on his ear.
Dandelion ask you about other washerwomen? Not terribly subtle even for him.
Maybe he likes some sudsy.
Maybe. But what did he ask about, exactly?
Oh, this and that, really. What's it like at the bathhouse? Have I got any friends there? What are their working hours? I don't know. Maybe he's looking to hire one for his tavern. Maybe I got all in a huff for no reason.
This woman he was with in the harbour. Who was she?
Claimed she was his niece from Kovir. Ha! Horvir, more likely. Corset so tight her eyes were popping out her head. His too, come to think of it. An artist or a whore. Doesn't much matter as they're one in the same.
Thanks for your help. Listen, when I find Dandelion, anything I should tell him?
No. I mean, tell him He's a two-faced snake, but it would be nice if you dropped by.
Oh, little rain in my suit.
Welcome, welcome. Do come in.
I'm a friend of Dandelion's, looking for Elial.
You've come to the right spot. How might I be of service? Need something shortened? Patch your trousers, darn your socks.
You Elial?
Yes. Now pick your jaw up off the floor.
Sorry, I thought Elial was one of Dandelion's girlfriends.
Oh, so it's that. Wait here. Any better?
So you're...
Elial.
Did you and Dandelion... how did you two meet?
I met him one night in a tavern. He was blind drunk.
Don't think I want to know what happened next.
Oh, stop. He wasn't so drunk as not to figure it out. Besides, men don't interest me. I told him that from the start. Luckily, Dandelion's an open-minded fellow. We had a lovely evening. He became a loyal customer afterwards.
Dandelion visit your shop often?
I tried many times to talk him into a decent doublet. Sadly, he'd only come in to get a button reaffixed or a hole patched.
When did you last see him?
Some time ago. He brought in one of Zoltan's jerkins, insisted I sew on an extra pocket. Odd as requests go, I had the distinct feeling he'd actually come to talk.
What did you and Dandelion talk about? He asked about anything in particular?
Let me think. Had an ordinary chat, really. Although, indeed, he did keep asking about Kalkstein. If Dandelion and I hadn't laid our cards on the table at the start, I might have suspected he had a history with the alchemist. He spoke like a lovesick beau. In fact, he desperately wished to meet with him.
Kalkstein's in Novigrad? Wouldn't mind seeing him myself.
You're too late, I fear. The witch hunters nabbed him recently, burned him at the stake in Hierarch Square. But as he perished, the goings-on, impressive. Fiery beasts circled his pyre, then rose into the sky and exploded to form letters.
Really? What did they spell?
Radovid sucks flaccid cock.
I know this is none of my business, but why do
I dress up? As a child, I dreamt of becoming a Doppler when I grew up. I became a tailor instead. Discovered clothing. Costumes can express all the complexities of one's personality. I'm a Redanian countess one day, a dockside thug the next. That is true freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Have you never thought to become someone else? Even for a moment? Must be horribly boring being a witcher all the time.
I managed to stay interested. Thanks for your help.
I can help with much more. Greetings.
Glad.
Of course, please. Greet.
Wouldn't.
a good man, Geralt.
down without wishing
Eternal fire, protect King Radovid.
Got a problem?
Excuse me.
I am she. Wait out.
I'll wait.
It won't take long. It turns out he'll not come after.
Greetings.
What?
Like running around, sorts of bloomers.
Watch it. Wobbly. Hit some overripe sheep's feet.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Fuck!
Oh!
What do you see, pain giver?
Deliver us from all evil, in body and soul.
I'll wait.
It won't take long. It turns out he'll not come after.
Wonder where he's from. Wonder where he's from.
Spare a copper or two.
Ah.
Oh, that's bad luck.
He's as good as in the grave. This one's got a fever.
Now can we talk? I know you saw Dandelion recently. He read you his poems.
No. Mould. That was his... When his hand abandoned my knee to point at a figure of penicillium, I knew the fire between us had died.
See Dandelion after the fungus incident?
No. I even considered granting him another chance. His heart of hearts is pure gold. He simply needs a bit more discipline in his life. But he never came back to see me. So I thought if it's done, it's done.
Found a poem Dandelion wrote about you. Portrayed you as an unusually talented individual.
Really? Did he mention my poetry? Horses have always fascinated me. I've always longed to extol their noble beauty. Did you see any of my work at Dandelion's? Mere exercises, true, but I'd be curious to know what you thought of them.
No. Didn't see any.
Gee up. Her snakely whip rose skyward. Jee-haw! Crack! She reined the beast in. The stallion danced betwixt her thighs. Lather bathed its chinny chin.
Sorry, don't know much about poetry. Thanks for your help.
Must be coming home from war.
Ah! Hey!
Sod off, Skyver. Sod off, Skyver.
Hey.
Oh, I've had enough of living.
Ooh.
Well, a witcher. Oh!
For an ordinary man, I'd diagnose anemia. But you are far from ordinary.
Oh, God. A reaper's come for me.
It's raining buckets.
Drenched again.
This Baronet's La Vallette's villa.
Shouldn't interest you. The Baroness don't mingle with just anyone.
Don't worry. I'm here to see your chambermaid, Molly.
Out of the way. Baroness is riding out. Be gone.
Greetings, Witcher. Must admit it's curious to see you here. I don't quite believe in coincidences.
Geralt of Rivia, slayer of monsters, and my son.
You're right, General. My visit's no accident. I'm looking for someone.
There's no one here who wishes to see you. Captain, this man is not to enter. Forgive me, Morvran, but I've lost my appetite for the races.
Kill a woman's son and appear at her doorstep? My. I thought witches had better survival skills than that.
Looking for a girl named Molly. Heard she works here.
I fear your information's out of date. Molly no longer works here.
Seem to know who Molly is. You also know she doesn't work here anymore. Know where I can find her, maybe?
This time of day? Probably sipping punch and considering which horse to bet on.
Not in the mood for jokes.
I jest you not. After Arian's demise, Luis's nephew came to pay his respects. Got one glance of Molly and, well, they wed soon after. They now await his inheritance. With the Baroness's son dead, the estate will go to the nephew and Lady Latar, known until recently simply as Molly.
Gotta wonder if Molly fell for the nephew or his inheritance.
We cannot know that just yet, but I'd wager...
All right, so where'll I find the newly minted Latar?
Our dear little Molly has a new passion, horse racing. To my knowledge, she should be at Countess Vegelbud's villa right now. That's exactly where I'm going. Simply strip...